Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time. And that whenever and wherever you happen to be on God's green earth, that you are paying attention to all of the feels you are feeling lately. That you are aware of moments of despair, melancholia, anxiety, depression, feelings of not being worthy, because all of these things are coming up in the past 24 to 48 hours to be cleansed, purged. They're coming up so you can release them. You can realize that these are false accusations that you accuse yourself with. You put things on yourself. For example, I've been having feelings of doubt about my twin flame loving me fully. Like maybe he's going to reject me when we meet. Maybe he won't like my body or my age or the way I live my life, or maybe my house isn't clean enough for him, or, and then I think, what if his house isn't clean enough for me? Or maybe he's too old for me, am I going to reject him? Well, no, I know I'm going to love him. So why would he not love me the same if I am him and he is me, right? So these kinds of thoughts are coming up quite a bit. And you might be going through something like that with your twin, even if you have not yet met. I feel like mine probably went through a recent kind of a humiliation, a feeling of being humiliated. And I feel like he's not connecting with me for the past few hours. Like he's embarrassed, like deeply, not really ashamed, but embarrassed about something. And I feel it. I just feel it. I feel it in my gut, and I feel it in my heart, like that solar plexus area. So if you're a divine masculine and you're going through these feelings, just allow it to come up and allow it to be expressed and felt, but then just let it go, because these are false images we hold of ourselves. And I don't know about you guys, but have you had a day that you just feel like listening to songs like The Cure? I've been listening to The Cure today and just crying my eyes out. It's just, I just feel like a typical gothic chick. And I'm not normally like this, but I've been feeling the energy of my old gothicness has come back. I don't know how else to explain that, but just a lot of weird feelings have come up. And remember what I said yesterday that I got from Shri and Kira is that for real, every single day is like going through 1 year's worth of spiritual growth this week. We are in acceleration, guys. We are still in this, and we're in an acceleration week. And if you are on board with this and you are paying attention to those feels, those things coming up, so that you can release and relax, let them go. Somebody talked to me today about how he wants to do something. He's young, and he says, well, I think I'm going to make a comeback. I'm going to make my dad proud, and he'll finally take notice of me, and he'll realize, basically, he didn't say these words like these worthy, but that's like the energy of that. And I'm like, whoa. And he's young. And I said, I'm going to tell you something right now. Don't waste your life trying to impress somebody who will never be impressed by you, who will never care. Because if they don't care right now, they're not going to care in 20 years. Don't waste your life trying to impress other people that were not impressed in the beginning. Because the ones that truly love you are the ones that are going to support you right now. The ones that truly love you are going to be there for you. Like my mom, man, she was impressed with me if I stood up for myself, if I marched or protested, which I did a lot when I was younger. And she was impressed that I could write angry letters at people, who deserved it. I'd call her and go, I wrote another angry letter. You want to hear it? She's like, yeah, I love your writing. I'm always impressed with your writing. And this is my adopted mom, So like no matter what I did, if I told her I made a roast, she'd be proud of me. If I told her I got my bachelor's degree, she was proud of me. But she was always proud of me no matter what I did. And that really deeply affected me. It made me very grateful that I had my mom. It humbled me. I was grateful, even though she didn't raise me past the age of 5, and I had a very unstable childhood, very insecure and unsafe childhood, most of it. And it wasn't, but those first 5 years were good. So I hold on to that on the hard days, like today. And I was thinking about this, and it really upset me that this young kid, he's a teenager, and he's saying to me, you know what? I'm going to make my dad notice me. I'm training every day. I'm working out twice a day because what I want to do with my life, I want my dad to be impressed. And that I felt it on such a deep and visceral level because so many of us do this. And if you're young and you're still in your teen years or you're in your 20s, and you're still trying to impress your parents because you want them to love you. You want to feel that you're worthy in their eyes. This is a wasted goal because I'm telling you right now, you know my age, right? Thank you, God, I don't look this age, but I am 51. I'm going to be 52 this year. And it took me, even today I had more like a higher octave understanding of this dynamic. My birth mother gave me away when I was born. In fact, she asked to be knocked out. My grandmother told me this after I met my birth mom at the age of 30. And I met my grandmother when I was about, I think 31. Or no, I was still 30 when I met my grandmother. But my birth grandmother. And she told me, do you know that the day that you were born, your mother asked them, I heard her say, can you just knock me out? I don't even want to see it. She said that about me. I don't even want to see it. I want to see the baby. I don't want to know. And she told me it's because she was going to love me so much that she would not want to give me away. Right? Okay, well, that sounds feasible. But then more things came to light because I always felt like there's something off a little bit. Like she gave me away because she wasn't married and she was young and she was living at home with her parents and didn't have a job yet. She was young, very young, 21. And she was in the same situation when she got pregnant with my brother, except she was living with a boyfriend who, when she got pregnant, he left her immediately and said, you're a whore and the baby's not mine. He completely denied it, even though she wasn't. She'd only been with like 2 men in her whole life, my dad and my brother's dad. But, so that was like a horrible thing that happened to her. But she found herself again in a situation of having to go back home, being unmarried and living with her parents and without a job because her boyfriend had been providing everything for her. So the exact same situation, but she didn't give my brother away. She kept him. Probably because she learned the lesson from giving me away. But at the same time, It's like, oh, so you know how that makes me feel, right? So those kinds of feelings of being rejected, being unloved, unworthy, unwanted, all of those types of feelings, even if you've resolved them, they might be coming up again for a higher octave of understanding, right? So I was thinking about this situation I have, like, you know, my mom died, and something that really, it was a weird thing that came, realization today, that during like the years that, like when I was born, she like rejected me completely, gave me away to strangers, you know, like when in the years that I was born, I was not important to her. I was not worthy to her of being kept, loved, wanted, needed. And the last 2 years of her life, she knew me, but she refused to acknowledge I existed. She told everybody in her world, though, that I'm not calling her because I don't care. And the fact of the matter is, and she knew because I contacted her, I mean, God, at least 30 times. I told her through other people, told her through Facebook. I wrote her emails over and over and over again that my phone, something happened to my phone, and all my numbers got erased except for my ex-husband's phone and my current boyfriend's phone and my ex-boyfriend's phone. It was like weird. It's like four phone numbers, and I think one of them was like the Social Security office or something really weird like that. And then only 3 men in my life, and then everyone else on my phone just had been completely erased. I mean, I'd spent hours on the phone with this company. I think it was like Virgin Mobile. And they walked me through it, and they said, don't worry, you're going to be able to keep, I had a factory reset my phone, and there was a way to keep all the phone numbers. And I did that, and we walked through it very, you know, like step by step. It was like hours on the phone, and I lost everybody's phone number except my adopted mom. 3 men in my life. 2 were exes, and 1 was my current. And then like some random like Social Security. It was like so weird, and it was the weirdest thing. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, is God protecting me right now? Is God saving me? I was furious. You know, I like lost 100 people's phone numbers, and you know how embarrassing it was when they called me. I haven't heard from you in months. It's like, yeah, I lost your number. Did you not get the email? But in time, everybody that mattered, that really mattered to me, the people that truly belonged in my life, got back in touch with me within 6 months. My mom, for 2 whole years, refused to call me, and she had my number. She had it written down on paper in her phone book. But where I had written her number down on paper was still at my ex-husband's house, and he and I weren't speaking. And then he died, and I lost complete contact with the ability to call her. And I wrote her many, many different ways, and she never got back to me. And I'm like, that's funny, because she ignored me in the beginning of my life, and she'd ignored me at the end of her own life. And the insight that I got was that she did not actually really give a shit about me, just to be honest. You know, and that was a hard pill to swallow for years. You know, it really hurt me. But the more that I have acknowledged this and accepted, it is what it is. And it wasn't that I lived a life unloved. I did get love from my mom and my dad, who adopted me. And I did feel loved, and I loved, my grandparents loved me, you know. So, I mean, I'm not saying this for anyone to feel sorry for me, because obviously everybody has hard shit in their life, right? We all have hard stuff that we have to go through, and the crosses that we have to bear, and we all have different things, but a lot of us have similar things. And when my young friend told me today he was trying to impress his father, and he hopes in the future his father will be impressed with him, it struck me that it wasn't that I was so upset about her not loving me, and I wasn't so upset about her like rejecting me without even knowing me, or that I wasn't worthy enough. It wasn't any of that. It was that I had spent an entire lifetime impressing a ghost, trying to impress a ghost who didn't give a crap about me anyway. That was what hurt the most. And that's something I just like literally like an hour ago discovered this about myself. So I'm telling you guys my story because I feel like some of you can relate. And even if you can't relate to like the details, it's the emotion behind it, right? The crap, the shadow shit, and we're trying to like, we're going fast forward. We have put our lives this week on fast fucking forward. 7 years and 7 days. We are spiritually growing 7 years in 7 days time. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today's the 4th day. Do you guys feel that you have grown spiritually? 4 years worth of spiritual growth? Do you feel battered and torn and beaten up emotionally? Do you feel like turning on Love Song by The Cure and crying your heart out? Seriously. That's why. I mean, it's this kind of stuff that's come up, like I feel like why, like if you're trying to impress somebody that isn't even in your life, you need to reevaluate that, and you need to back up, the spiritual beep, 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 because you have to learn that you should only try to really impress yourself. Only do it to impress you. Because if you live your life to impress somebody else, and then when he gets to that point, like what I was telling my young friend was that, I spent my whole adult life trying to be better in every possible way that I could. I had gotten in like superior shape for a while. Back in the day, I was working out constantly. And I was like a size 3. I was a model. I ended up on the cover of a magazine in LA. They lied to me. They said they never used my image, and they had. I ended up being in an ad spread for the modeling agency. I was like the model spokesperson. It was for commercial modeling, not like, because I'm not a supermodel. I'm like short, short legs and not, but I looked good in the pictures, and so they made it like, it was like a big deal, but they lied about using my image. And I found out later, years later, when my friend fell in love with my image, cut it out, and had it in his room for years, which was funny. He had my tear-outs, my printouts. I didn't have it. And when we met, he was like, wait a minute, I know you. Took him like a year or something before he realized it was me that he quote unquote fell in love with, but we're still good friends after all these years. But it was, I did all these things, to be impressive to my birth mom that I hoped someday to meet. I wanted her to know that I didn't waste the life that you gave me. She could have had a back alley abortion, but she didn't. I wanted to impress her, like, look, I am worthy of your love. And I didn't realize that until tonight, that was the thing that I was really, and I think I might have on some level realized that, but tonight there was a different energy to it, where I was like, oh my God, no wonder I resented her so much at the end. Because when I went to her, like when I first met her, and I showed her all of my degrees. Here's my AA degree. Here's my BA degree. Here's my minor degree. You know what I mean? And then later when I got my Doctorate of Divinity degree, here I'm an ordained minister. Now I'm a Doctor of Divinity. I'm literally a doctor. And like, look at these things. Look, I have my, I did hypnotherapy. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, Mom. Look at this. And one day she just finally snapped at me and she said, it was like maybe 2 days out of the whole time I knew her, only 2 days I talk about what I did to, like, my accomplishments. And, I won a poetry prize. I won the Jeremiah Reeves Poetry Prize for Justice because I wrote about Native American stuff, things that I thought she would be impressed by. I did because I want her to be impressed by me. I want to be proven. I want to prove that I was always worthy of her love, even though she didn't love me. And she chose to give me away to strangers. It was like that. There was like a secret angst I didn't know I had. These are the kinds of shitty things that are coming up right now. The shadow stuff, man. Right? But what I told my friend was when I brought all these things to her, literally laid them at her feet. She was sitting on a chair and I was sitting on the ground, and I put it on the carpet in front of her. Here's all my degrees. Here's all the things I did. Here's, I had like a folder to show her when I met her. And what I expected was, you've made a life without me, and I'm so proud of you. But what instead I got was, you're just trying to make me feel like shit about myself because I'm not educated. And the other thing she said was, what was it? She said, you're trying to make me feel bad about myself, and then you brag too much. That was the thing. You brag too much. And that just it's like she gave me away to strangers all over again. And it dawned on me in other deeper ways, I lived my whole life for that one moment that just totally blew up in my face because I had unrealistic expectations and lived my life accordingly. I became a type A personality, achieving every freaking thing I possibly could so that I could show her, look what I did. Look what I did with my life. And it's funny, after she died, I prayed to God one night. I was so sad, and I just was like, why did she treat me the way she did? For 2 years, she ignored me, and then she died, so I didn't get that closure. And I'm like, why the hell did she treat me like that? And God showed me, when she first found out she was pregnant, she tried to coat hanger abortion me. And in that moment, when I had that, it was like a flash of insight and intuition, and I saw the scene of it. And she's laying on the floor, drunk and crying with the coat hanger in her hand, and blood everywhere. And she couldn't do it. I stayed. She had to give birth to me. And then when she got to that point, she just said, "Cut her out of me. I don't want to see her. Knock me out with the drugs." She didn't even want to make the fucking effort for me. And I realized, about 3 years ago, that because of these things, I had a whole different idea of it, but because she rejected me, I started doing that chasing thing, and that has been a theme throughout my whole freaking life. Chasing men that didn't want me, chasing men who rejected me, chasing people who didn't want to be around me, and at the same time ignoring the people who did want to be around me, right? And it became a really weird dynamic. Now I've been alone for 3.5 years, trying to get right with myself so that I can prepare myself for my twin flame, and I'm not going to chase him. I'm waiting for him to come to me, and that's why. Because when he comes to me, I will honor that connection. But in the meantime, I'm honoring myself, and I'm trying to do things to impress myself, because I don't need to impress anybody else but me. I'm the only one that matters in my life, because I'm the only one that's constantly in my life, because other people come and go. I was telling somebody else who is a listener of the show, Chris, I was telling her, look, you're in someone's life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, as the old saying goes. It's not mine. It came from someone else. But you are either with them for the moment to teach them about something they need to know, give them information that will change their life in a positive way, or for a short period of time so that you can, help them accomplish a short task, You know, like she said she thinks she's there to bring two people together and repair their relationship, and her presence has done that. And she's wondering, you know, like, what, you know, why am I in this situation with this person? And maybe that's why. So she's questioning, and I could tell, like, the people I've been having conversations with the past few days, that they're all like saying things like time feels like it's freaking warping. Time feels like it's speeding the hell up. Things are really weird. I feel strange. I feel emotionally wrung out. Or some of the other things I've heard is that there's like chunks of memory missing, or I've got, like, I know that certain things took place or were said or done, but now there's no evidence, even though I had the evidence before. What I've noticed on my phone lately is that I had 3 different apps in which, I think maybe even 4, well, 3 apps and then my actual camera for my phone. Like, I know I took some pictures that just are not freaking there now. What the hell happened? No one erased them. No one erased them, so where the hell did they go? And my grocery store app, for example, I had like, I don't know, 20 or 30 things in my shopping cart. And it's an app that you could close it down, you could turn it off, you can, you know, like sign out and sign back in, and the groceries are still in the cart until you buy them or remove them. And I've been using it for, well, since the beginning of the quarantine. And everything was erased except for 6 items. I had like 30 items in there. And I was like ready to push the button, pay the price. Let's go. Let's get my groceries. And I had to spend another 2 or 3 hours finding everything, remembering what it means in Spanish and putting in the Spanish word and trying to find, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It takes me 2 or 3 days to remember everything I need in the proper language. It's like ridiculous, but I had to redo the whole thing because all my groceries are gone. What the hell happened, right? And the app never failed before, so I don't know. But then on Instagram, I had saved 5 or 6 things that in a funny file. I have a funny file that I, when I see really, really hysterically funny things, I save it so I could show my son, you know, when he's in a receptive mood to look at things that will make him laugh. And I went to my funny file, and everything I saved in the past 2 weeks was gone. What the hell? It's like, where the hell was I for 2 weeks? What happened? Like, I remember certain things, and then I just can't find them. And I thought, well, maybe it's in, you know, there's a folder where everything you saved, regardless of what folder you put it in, is in the main folder, and it wasn't even there. So I looked in all the folders, and none of those things I saved for like 2 weeks was gone. On WhatsApp, conversations I had were just completely gone or non-existent, or the people I know I spoke to in the past 2 or 3 days, it looks like I haven't spoken to them in weeks. And some other app too, some other app did the same thing. I can't remember now which app it was, but 3 or 4 things. And then on my camera also, like, I just, things I know I took a picture of, it is just gone. So, a lot of weird things. I feel like I hopped a timeline, and I remember the old one, you know what I mean? Like, and I haven't had a situation in which I did not remember the old timeline in a while, like in about 2 years. Usually, I mean, probably 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you know, your whole life, every time you hop a timeline, your memories are immediately erased of that timeline, unless they coincide with what you, the same memories are on the timeline you're on. So like, when you hop a timeline, it's because you energetically go up. You moved up one, and that world is 2% different than the one you just left. And usually it's changes you're never going to remember. You know, like a pair of jeans might be slightly bluer than they used to be, you know, or your hair might be slightly blonder than it used to be. And it won't be, you know, terribly different. It'll be just a little slight bit off, and you'll just kind of immediately forget it, or you won't register it. You'll just, that's weird. Remember that wall being turquoise, not baby blue. Weird. All right. Man, maybe it's just a catch of the light. I'm going crazy. Okay. And you make an excuse for yourself and you move on, if you remember it at all. Usually you don't remember it. But now, because we are all wakening up spiritually, we're becoming more in tune with our multidimensional selves and the fact that we are like so much more than we thought we were. And we're opening up. All of a sudden we're remembering when we hop a timeline. And a lot of us are remembering when we're hopping a timeline. Like, we're aware in the moment it's happening. In that nanosecond, we're like, oh, I feel weird. I feel like I'm moving a little bit over to the right. And it's because you're moving literally to a timeline that's just slightly to the right of where you're sitting. I've seen all my furniture move over to the right like 2 or 3 inches. I mean, like everything got long streaks, like light streaks, like it was moving super, super fast. And yet I saw it in slow motion. And I saw, like, even my husband's face, it was like his face was melting off to the side. As we all moved to the right, I saw his face melting off of him to the left. And that was not a time in which I was on acid. I was not doing any psychedelic drugs at that moment. But what happened was I sneezed. And when I sneezed, my heart stopped. And all of a sudden, I left my body. And I went and I spoke to the beings, the temporal angels that take care of time. And they said, okay, this is what's happening, is you're hopping a timeline right now. Usually people are not aware of it, but people whose hearts stop in these moments are the people whose memories they pull from the past life. Or I mean, the others, like side dimensional life, into this world. Like from that timeline to this timeline, they pull those memories into this timeline. And while no one around you will remember where they just came from, and some of these people were already on this timeline, you're hopping into their world, you know. But it's only when your heart stops that sometimes you'll bring the memories. You'll have an awareness in that moment what's actually happening. And that's what it used to be. Now everybody has the ability, whether their heart's stopping or not, whether you're sneezing, orgasming, or coughing, or whatever the hell, having a heartbeat palpitation thing, no matter what's going on, you're going to remember your timeline. And that's why so many of us are like, well, wait a minute. You know, it's not going to be like, well, I had a poodle that was black yesterday, and why is she white today? It's not going to be that much of a change, right? But it will be like, yesterday you had gray hair, and today your hair is a lot less gray. Or your eyes might be slightly greener. Or maybe yesterday you did not have any freckles on your face, but today it looks like you've been out in the sun and you know you haven't gone in the sun, but now you have freckles on your face. Or it could be, maybe you're the same, but maybe it's like your bedspread is a little bit different color, or you have a distinct memory of a conversation you had with somebody yesterday and they know they never talked to you. And then you have an argument about, yeah, well, yesterday when I had this conversation with you, and you go to look on your phone and there's no record of you having called them. And they're like, my phone was off all day yesterday. You know what I mean? And you're like, but I had the conversation with you yesterday. Today's Wednesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. It was our Tuesday afternoon call that we always call. You know what I mean? It's like, you know absolutely all the details of it. And they know for a fact the details from their timeline, which is that you never did talk to each other. And it gets all crazy. And this is where a lot of people were having arguments like a couple years ago, I think last year and the year before, about, well, no, this was said. No, this wasn't said. You know, and some people are having like out and out fights over like things that happened in the past, and one person remembers it one way, and you know, you were a terrible person to them, but from your perspective, you're like, that never ever happened, because I know that's not me. I would never do that. I know I never did that. And it becomes a he said, she said. And a lot of relationships are busting up. Like friendships, parents and children, neighbors that used to talk now won't talk. People you knew from school, from grade school or even university, that where you were close, and then suddenly nothing. Because they remember something and they're adamant it happened, and now they suddenly won't forgive you for it. And you remember that never happened at all. You remember something different, or the day that's in question, you know for a fact you're with somebody else. Whatever the instant is, what you did, didn't do, whatever. But we're having all these weird shadow things coming up. And at the same time, time is warping. we're hopping. And we're also living a whole year's worth of spiritual growth in one day, every day this week for 7 days. It's quite a lot. So if you wake up freaking exhausted, that's why. So I went to bed pretty early, pretty much immediately after I finished publishing the show last night. And I got it done early, thank you God. I was able to do it. Listen to my higher guidance. It said, something's coming. You don't want to get the show done. You don't want to start too late because you might not finish it till the morning. I'm glad I had that advice, because literally within 30 minutes, I was like, that's it. My head hit the pillow and I was out. I was just out like a light. And I woke up like 3 hours later because my stomach acid came up all the way up through my esophagus and literally went out of my nostrils. Like I had acid burning my nose from my stomach. What the hell? It was like, whoa. And I had to get up, run to the bathroom, and quickly put water up my nose to neutralize my stomach acid that was burning my nose hairs. I was like, oh my God, I can't freaking believe this just happened. I could have aspirated it, which thank God I didn't. But I sat up as fast as I could. I took off my socks so that my feet would have traction on the floor and I wouldn't trip on the floor, and raced to the bathroom. And then I immediately went downstairs and I drank 2 glasses of vinegar water, and followed by another glass of water. So of course then I'm all this water, like, oh my God, 3 glasses of water later. And I just sat up in my bed for like 20 minutes, like, what the actual hell just happened? It was like incredible. Like, why did that happen to me? And went back to bed, woke up 2 hours later, went in the bathroom, and there was this weird video that I saw. Today I saw it, and this is what happened to me last night. My right eye was completely, looked like a blood vessel had broken in my eye, and it was completely bloody. My right eye was completely bloody. And it was really freaking scary. And then today I saw a video and someone said, is Joe Biden a reptilian? I think it was a fake video, but his eye appeared just exactly like mine appeared last night. So today now I'm questioning, what did a reptilian being try to take over my body while I was asleep? Like, what the hell was that? And I thought if a blood vessel had actually broken in my eye, it would still look like that now, but it doesn't. It takes 3 or 4 days, sometimes a week, for something like that to resolve itself. And it might have been an allergy or something, but my eye was really swollen and really red. I had like wild things. I mean, usually like I'll lay in one position and I don't move, and I wake up 8 hours later stiff because I haven't moved all night. And I woke up and my covers were in all kinds of dishevelment. And all this wild stuff happened in the middle of the night, like my stomach acid and my eyeball, all these crazy symptoms. And I woke up absolutely exhausted, like I didn't even sleep a wink. And I know I slept 10 hours, and I just feel like maybe I was asleep 10 minutes. And I think at night in my dreams, I was resolving all of this shadow stuff. I mean, every 24 hours, we are going through 1 year worth of spiritual shadow work. spiritual growth time. We're accelerated right now. So if you're having crazy vivid dreams right now, that's why. If you're having dreams where you wake up so sad, so upset, so mad, so whatever, it's because you're resolving it and you're letting those emotions go. I had a dream that I didn't even tell my son, this is hysterical. I had a dream that I had just washed my favorite blanket, and he decided to eat buttered toast and added extra butter, and he came up here and grabbed my blanket when I was asleep and took it all the way downstairs to eat butter toast over my blanket on the couch, something he would never do. But in my dream, I dreamt he did that. I was so furious because there's like 7 different spots of oily butter in my favorite velvet. I mean, I have like this fake velvet, like, it's like a velour blanket, and I use it every day of my life. It was just a cheap blanket I picked up in Peru at the grocery store. Okay, $9. It wasn't even that much money. But in my dream, I was just furious. I was like, oh my God, how am I ever going to get the butter out? You know how hard it is to get butter out of this fabric. And I was just like furious. And I mean, it took me like 10 minutes to realize, oh, wait, the blanket's still on my bed. None of that happened. I was just venting out, being mad at my son for something dumb, like, and it's nothing he's ever done, ever. He's never done that. But I guess it was just like an inconsideration, like, someone being inconsiderate towards me and me being angry about someone not thinking about my feelings or thinking about me or considering me. And that was a shadow part. I was like venting, because it was in the last third of my night is when you vent out all those dreams, right? Or you vent out all those negative feelings in your dreams. So that was what was going on. And then the beginning part of my night, I had a dream that I had $60,000, and I went over to the coast, and I bought a condominium, which you can buy here for $60,000. You can buy a high-rise condominium overlooking the ocean in a pretty nice city. And there's other people, like other expatriates, and it's really beautiful. It looks like California it looks like Los Angeles or Santa Monica in the 1950s. And that's what it looks like there now. No pollution, super beautiful, overlooking the ocean, and it's like kind of a bay. And so there'll never be a tsunami there because there's like land on the outside. So if the tsunami ever hit that part of the Pacific Ocean, it would hit the land that's like pretty far out, and you'll never reach you. So it's like a safe part of the beach, even though there's still waves and it's still really beautiful. And the temperatures are really nice there. So I've always kind of thought, well, you know what? I might want to go someday, if I ever have money, I'm going to go over there and buy a condo, and here, because, we're foreigners, we have to pay cash for everything. So I can't just like make payments or something. Otherwise I already would have done it. But I did have in the beginning of the night that I was with my twin flame, and we said, why not? It's super, super cheap real estate. It's like $100 a year for taxes. It's super easy to afford. And why not have a foothold here too? So we went and we bought it, and it was my money I earned from classes that I had been teaching online. And it was such a joy to be able to go over there and look. And I'm like, it's funny. I was telling him I always wanted to get a 4-bedroom place because in case I have my children with me or my grandchildren. But now that my youngest is grown up and he doesn't want to live here at the beach, it's really wonderful that we could just get like a 1-bedroom place. And he said, well, let's get a 2-bedroom place just in case. And I said, all right, let's do that. And we were super pleasant with each other, super agreeable, absolutely in love, and thrilled to the teeth that we're just buying this little beach condo, and it was beautiful. It was all white and turquoise and super pretty looking over the beach. And there's like restaurants within walking distance, and we had like an elevator to go downstairs. And it was a place where life was going to be super sweet and super easy. And it wasn't going to be where we live forever, but it was just where we'll come for like a month or two to relax Then we'll go to one of his houses that he has in other places. And it was like the sweetest dream. I was like, that's so awesome. I woke up from that one too. And I didn't even get out of bed. I just woke up and I was like, that was weird. And I rolled back over and went back to sleep. I'm like, that was a cool dream. And then boom. But I was tossing and turning all night. Restless sleep is a big ascension symptom right now. There's a lot of ascension symptoms going on right now. Digestion, bloating issues, like 20 minutes after I stopped after I published the show last night, I started to get swollen. My whole body got swollen. All my joints, my legs, my arms, my hands, my stomach. I gained probably 20 pounds of water weight within 30 minutes. And I was just like, oh my God, do I need to take a Benadryl? What do I do? I think I did take a Benadryl, actually. And then I just went to sleep. I was like, it's ridiculous. And I've seen other people who list ascension symptoms every day or every other day, what's going on. And that's one of the things they listed. Tinnitus has gotten weird, where it's just in one ear and it's a different pitch than normal. Or heart palpitations, lots of heart palpitations, a lot of dehydration in spite of drinking too much water, bloating, just like too much water weight, carrying the water weight. Like a couple days ago, I was looking really thin. I was like, thank God. And then all of a sudden today, I look in the mirror, I'm like, what the hell? Like, it looks like I gained 20 or 30 pounds. And I know it's only water, because what else could it be? No one needs 20 pounds of food in a day, right? So it's been challenging, so I want you guys to know about these things. Just be aware of it and give yourself room to spiritually grow today and tomorrow and every day until Sunday this week. All right, I'm going to tell you guys what's going on with the space weather. I found out today it's not only Comet Neowise in the sky. I looked up what can I see from Ecuador in the sky, pretty much. And I got this website that showed me. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, now I think I've deleted it now, darn it. But it said I counted like 20 or 30 things that we can see in the sky. With a small telescope, you could see Pluto. I didn't know you could see it from here with a small telescope, but you can. And with binoculars or the naked eye, you can also see Saturn and Jupiter and Mars and Venus. All in the sky right now. I think Uranus with the telescope. You could see Uranus with the telescope. How the hell tall are you? Okay, we're not going to talk about that anymore. Hey, Yoka. That's my crazy wisdom, crazy humor. Okay, solar wind speed right now is 348.7 kilometers per second. The density in the solar winds are 6.8 protons per centimeter squared. Protons. Someone told me today that protons actually affect us emotionally too. I'm like, oh my God, doesn't everything? And I was thinking the comet Neowise would be affecting us, but it turns out there's like 30 asteroids and or comets that you can see at various times of the evening, the night, and right before the sun rises. Like, what the hell? Did you guys know there's so many out there just randomly? The sun is blank with no sunspots. It's day 2 without a sunspot. The thing that was starting to form yesterday, oh well, didn't quite make it. It's not even there now. We are at 9.9% of the space age average of neutron counts in the air. That's cosmic radiation that comes to us. We are in a high, as opposed to very high where we were last week. Now we're at high level of radiation. And this has been a 0.3% increase in the past 48 hours. Solar wind flowing from the minor coronal hole in the upper part of the sun will reach Earth on July 11th and 12th. Here we go again. Here we go again, guys. Let's see. What's today? Today's the 8th, so 3 to 4 days from now. So if today's Thursday, no, it's not. It's Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Again, Saturday and Sunday. That seems to be a pattern, does it not? Every Saturday and Sunday, we have been getting over and over and over again for like 6 weeks now, right? I've been living in this place almost 2 months, and I got to pay rent already next week. I can't freaking believe it. It seems like a week ago that I paid rent. Maybe 2 weeks ago. But it's been almost a month. I can't believe it. Anyway, so that's been a pattern, though. I've been noticing for the past, 6 weeks or so that every weekend we've got solar winds. We've got solar radiation to deal with. So there's a ton of coronal holes, though. I mean, bottom, the top, and right in the middle, in the very dead middle of the sun, there's like massive holes there. So there is a picture of Comet Neowise. It's very bright in the sky, guys. I hope I could get up at 5 or 6 in the morning and go outside, because you could see it even from Ecuador. You can see it from the whole world, I think. You need to look it up to see if you can see it where you live, but it says Europeans woke up on July 6th to a spectacular display of noctilucent clouds, and many onlookers also photographed the rare clouds surrounding Comet Neowise. This is a once-in-a-lifetime photo opportunity. So it's still happening 3 days later. Oh my God, it's bright as hell. So people took pictures of the comet with the noctilucent clouds. I mean, these are two events that normally do not happen, and they definitely do not happen together. There's another person who got a shot. He says, let's see, who is this? Jeremy Perez, who was over in Flagstaff, Arizona. He took a picture of this old cinder cone, and what he said is, on any given morning, this old cinder cone is perfect. Catching it sharing the horizon with a graceful comet gets kind of goosebumpy for me. And I looked at this, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. And as I increased it, and I saw the cinder cone of a volcano with the comet behind it, it actually, with all the stars still in the sky, it really gave me the goosebumps, actually, too. He was right about it. It has that eerie sense of we're dinosaurs and we're all going to die because all these comets and asteroids and meteors are falling from the sky. I mean, it gave me like that kind of a weird feeling, like I wonder what the dinosaurs thought as they were being suddenly bombarded by all these things falling from the sky. How terrifying for them. It made me feel very sad. This picture made me feel sad for the dinosaurs today. All right, so the network did report 11 fireballs today from NASA's all-sky cameras and the all-sky fireball network. They said there were 11 fireballs, 10 were sporadic. One was a Pisceid, it was like Pisces, like Pisceid, I guess. And they all look very neat, like they're in a line, except for the one, the Pisceid's probably the red line here, but it's a very interesting diagram. You could always go to spaceweather.com and check it out. They all have very normal elliptical orbits. One has a round orbit, and then this one odd red orbit is very close. It looks like it's going around the sun. And they all came very, very close. They all came, above the United States. So 11 fireballs today. It's weird. It's like so random. Like every day is something totally different. All right. Let's see. Going right along to the next one. Schumann Resonance news coming out of disclosurenews.it. They had a spike of 52 hertz frequency. So it's pretty high for Italy. Usually they're lower. They usually have such a big deal. They make a big deal of it if it reaches 40, but it was 52 today and it was 99 a couple days ago. So they have been having more activity for sure. Now on HeartMath, Institute, which is found at heartmath.org, they, for some reason, they're not up to date fully. They're 2 days behind, but we do, thank you God, have some data from Monday. So at 2300 hour on Monday, July 6th, which is practically Tuesday, they say California was at 138 hertz frequency. Hopefully Saudi Arabia is still at 0. That could mean that they have equipment failure or the equipment is down at this time. Might not mean that the hertz frequency is actually 0, but it might be. Who knows? But that's where it's at. At least that's what's recorded. In Lithuania, they're at 134 hertz frequency. And in Alberta, Canada, they're at 276 hertz frequency. That is quite high. Remember, the fifth dimension is at 40 hertz. So 276 in Alberta, Canada. In Northland, New Zealand, they're at 62 hertz frequency. And in Hulului, South Africa, they are at 88. Love to see those master numbers, 88. That's money, baby. But in Hulului, that's where they're at. All right, so every day for the past 329 days, I have been reading to you A Course in Miracles lesson, one per day. In the beginning, I was only reading a third of the lesson because they were long. Now they're short at the end of the lessons, so I'm able to read the whole lesson. The Foundation for Inner Peace puts these out for absolutely free, and the website address, if you want to go look at it online, is acim.org, which of course stands for A Course in Miracles. I highly recommend taking your time and starting from the beginning and really going through the lessons and doing what they recommend, because it will help unravel some stuff for you. It will help you with your shadow work, and it will help you have a closer, actual, real working relationship with the Prime Creator. You might call this being Allah, or Ra, or Jah, or God, or Goddess, or Universe. Or if you're a Star Wars fan, you might just call it the Force. No matter what you call it, these lessons will help you unravel some stuff from early childhood training, especially if you grew up in a religious household. You might have erroneous ideas that kind of put you off of religion and accidentally put you off the idea of having a connection with the divine. So this is why I read these lessons. Also, they raise our vibration. They're very high vibrational words. And I wanted to make sure that I'm always on track, especially when I do my channelings. I don't want to be reading a thing from my subconscious mind. I want to channel directly from the person that I'm channeling. So this is why I read these lessons, to keep my energy up as well as yours. So here we go. We're on lesson 329, and this is it. I have already chosen what you will. I have already chosen what you will. Father, I thought I wandered from your will, defied it, broke its laws, and interposed a second will more powerful than yours. Yet what I am in truth is but your will, extended and extending. This am I, and this will never change. As you are one, so am I one with you. And this I chose in my creation, where my will became forever one with yours. That choice was made for all eternity. It cannot change and be in opposition to itself. Father, my will is yours, and I am safe, untroubled, and serene in endless joy, because it is your will that it be so. Today we will accept our union with each other and our source. We have no will apart from His, and all of us are one because His will is shared by all of us. Through it, we recognize that we are one. Through it, we find our way at last to God. I have already chosen what you will. Again, that's lesson 329. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'm channeling the cat-headed people. Meow. The Lyrans up after these messages. It's that time of year, guys. Finally. OMG. I am up for not only one, but 2 People's Choice Podcast Awards this year. I had no idea. I just found out. Okay, the voting starts today, July 1st, and goes through the 31st of July. And I need you guys to nominate my podcast. This is how you do it. Go to podcastawards.com and you have to sign up in order to nominate me, in order to vote. And you have to go to the very first category at the top, and it's the Adam Curry's People's Choice Podcast Award. And I'm way down on the list because, M, Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. And you just click that. And then when you're done with that section, you go to the religion and spirituality category. And again, cast your vote for Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. And then you have to go way at the bottom part of the page, and say, save my nominations. And that's it. It's that simple. It takes less than 2 minutes, probably 1 minute if you have high-speed internet, of course. It's not that much. You can even do this on your phone. It's super, super simple. I voted for myself on my tablet. OMG. So thank you for your continued support and listenership and voting for this show, because by doing so, you're keeping the show alive and we're getting the word out so that other people can benefit from my expertise. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Alright guys, I am already connected with the Lyrans, If you have never heard of the Lyrans, they are beings that are from, I want to say, the planet Vega that no longer exists, is what I've read online. They are also known as the cat-headed people, and there have been many people who have speculated that cats are not from Earth. If you are a cat person like I am, there's many moments that leave you scratching your head when you see how these creatures behave, and it feels like I think they're observing me to report back to the mothership later. I don't think these are just Earth creatures going about their earthly day. I feel like there's something more. There's something deeper, something more spiritual to these animals. There's something different about cats, especially black cats. And I did hear someone say in the past year, now I think it was maybe Amelia Kincaid actually, but maybe I'm wrong. Somebody spiritually who is kind of famous did mention that black cats are all from Lyra, that they literally are Lyrans and they're in disguise. And when I was in Peru, there was a black cat. And this cat got spooked every time I came near it, and it would run. And it was a black cat, and it hung out with all these other cats. And if you guys have ever seen a cat council at night, it is one of the freakiest things I've ever seen in my life. Where all these cats come, they sneak out of their houses, whether they're stray cats or they live in homes, and they will come and they will form a circle like a coven. And they all get together, they gather in a circle in the middle of a street when all the humans are asleep, and I don't know what the hell they're discussing, but it is freaky. It is one of the freakiest things. And I read a book in the 80s, a fictional book about cats. It was about a cat named Fritty Tail Chaser. So I don't know if you can look that up and find from that information the name of the book, but it was a really good book. And they talked about in the book how cats have councils, and I thought, this is such an imaginative book. Totally fake, but no, it's not real. Well, in recent years, I've noticed cats doing this exact behavior. Freaked me the hell out. And one time, about 12 years ago, I had a dream that there was a council of cats that met on the end of our cul-de-sac. And one day at dusk, I saw a cat run by me that I had in that dream. And then another cat ran by me, coming from the opposite direction. That was a cat I'd recognized from the dream also. And all of a sudden, I got this eerie feeling, and I turned and I looked. And every cat from my cat council dream, they were all in a circle, like a coven, like a cat coven. And I was like, I know what you guys are up to. You guys you're not normal cats. I just felt it. And when I was in Lima and I looked at that black cat and I said, I wish you would just talk to us. I know you can talk. I know you're from a different planet. I know you're an ET. And I love you. I mean, I would be your friend. I would be your confidant. I would be here for you if only you would let me. And the cat kind of hissed at me, gave me a dirty look, as only a cat can, and whispered something that I couldn't hear to this orange cat. The orange cat snapped its neck and looked at me, gave me a dirty look, and they took off together. Freaked me out. Like, what the hell are they doing? What are they thinking? So I don't know if you guys have ever thought cats are from another planet. I have a feeling that some cats are from here, and some cats are inhabited by these Lyrans. I just feel like it's true. I'm not sure, can't prove it, obviously, but if you've ever witnessed and observed cats the way I have, you'll start to realize that some cats are just cats, and other cats are like, holy crap, I used to have a cat that I named Elizabeth Taylor because she was very beautiful, very graceful, and she was my best friend. And she would stand up behind me while I sat on my bed when I would read novels. I always loved to read when I was done with homework when I was in high school. And she would stand up behind me, and she would throw her arms around me, around my neck, and she'd put her head on my shoulder. And one day, as I was reading the book, I looked over, and she was reading the book with me. Like, I saw her following along, and I was like, that is really freaky. Is she doing that to copy me, make fun of me? Is she mocking me, or is she actually reading my book? It's so freaky. I love cats. I love them so much. And I don't know. I've often thought that they're not from here. They're not of this world. They're very special creatures. And we are very lucky if they choose to spend time with us. You never own a cat. A cat owns you. You know, it's like a cat's in your house taking advantage of your money and your good nature that you're going to feed it. It's never like dependent on you like dogs are. You know, like if a dog is hungry, it'll just cry because you're supposed to feed it. If a cat's hungry, it will sneak the hell out and buy and it'll get its own mouse. You know, they're just so independent. You know, although, you know, the dogs that we have here, I still have to put them up. I've got pictures of them I want to put up, of the wolf dogs. But, you know, on Instagram. But cats, I don't know, just there's a different, you know, I mean, the wolf dogs here, they are independent because they're they don't really belong to anybody, so they do their own thing. But cats do their own thing whether they're owned or not. It's just something I've noticed. They don't need your love to survive. Sometimes they enjoy that companionship, but mostly they don't really give a crap one way or the other. Dogs are dependent on your every move. You know, it's like difference between the animals, it seems to me. Anyway, the Lyrans have the appearance of having heads that look like cats. Their faces look like cat faces. Like, they're very lion-rific. You know, they look like lions. And they have humanoid bodies like our bodies. But I'm not sure if they're furry all the way through or just it's on their face only. I don't know. People have depicted them from their impressions that they get psychically from working with the Lyrans. But what I have learned and noticed about them, and I have not channeled them in a while, but what I've learned about them is they are very loving, very passionate creatures. They have been hunted and persecuted from other alien races, and they don't deserve that, because from what I can see, from what I've learned from them, they're very sweet, very loving beings. They are here surrounding Earth they're part of the Galactic Federation. They work with the Pleiadians closely. I believe the Andromedans and Arcturians as well. And there are different dimensions from which the Lyrans come from. If a Lyran ever comes into your existence, you'll know it because there's like a sound of a whip cracking, followed by what sounds like a cat crashing into the wall, running across the room and crashing into the wall. That's the sound I've heard every time they have physically come into my existence. But I still can't see them because they vibrate pretty freaking high. So I am connected already to Lyrans. Lyrans, before we get into your transmission, do I have permission to ask what dimension you are hailing from right now? So some of you are here from the 9th, yes. Some of you are here from the 7th. Are some of you here from the 5th? Okay, so we're dealing with 7th and 9th dimensional Lyrans tonight. Have I ever channeled you guys before specifically? They're saying no. These are new Lyrans. I have not worked with them before. But now I'm getting the chills. I'm happy to have you guys in the show. I'm going to close my eyes, take a couple deep breaths to tune into your energies. And by the way, you guys, I'm a telepathic channel. For the record, I don't allow them to take over my body. But I will tell you what they say in their voice, like in their cadence and rhythm of their voice. But I use muscle testing in case I think I get something wrong. So, just for you guys who are new. All right, Lyrans, welcome to the show. You may begin your transmission now. Hello and greetings. We are the Lyrans. We are a strange lot compared to you, at least in appearance. For appearance's sake, we are much, much different than you. But as far as emotions, joy, beauty, love, the things that you want in your life, we want the same things in our lives as well. We are not much different than you on the inside of our beings. You were describing earlier, they're talking to me, about how a Lyran, when they come into your existence and you hear the crash sound, this is what you will expect from a fifth dimensional Lyran. If you ever hear these sounds, the way you describe it, we know these are Lyrans that are in the fifth dimension. We are Lyrans that are in the seventh and the ninth dimension, Lyrans who are the ascended master Lyrans. Of course, the ninth dimension Lyrans being higher in vibratory rate than the seventh dimensional Lyrans, and so on. We come to you with a message of peace today. We come to you with a message of great joy and glad tidings. We have not really influenced your world to the extent that the Pleiadians have, or that other races of extraterrestrials have. But we are fascinated by the transition that you are all undertaking as a collective whole in these moments. We see great strides. We see huge changes, sweeping changes, and we notice that these take place every 24 hours on your planet. And it has been so from our observation for the past 3 years. Your time is indeed speeding up. We listened to the beginning part of your show, and we have witnessed this from our perspective as well when we observe your planet. That many of you go about your 8-hour days at your jobs, and you could swear that only 3 or 4 hours have passed. For some of you, it feels like 2 hours have passed. The faster you speed your own body up, the faster your time will seem to go. Many of you have been thinking about maybe slowing down time when you're going through something enjoyable. You have to use your conscious mind and make a conscious effort for this to actually occur and take place in your world. It is entirely possible. Lyrans are notorious for time jumping and for time looping. If we go through an experience that we absolutely love, at least those of us in the seventh dimension or higher, if we go through an experience that we absolutely love, we can go through it again. We can just hop back in time and enjoy that moment again, those moments again. We love having good times with each other. We love to laugh and sing and joke. We have a culture that is very, very social. And like your earthly cats, and yes, we heard what you said about cats that you think are from Lyra. It indeed is so that many of the cats that act strangely or like humans a lot of times will be our spirits. We will embody a physical earth cat so that we can observe humans. And many of you are astute in figuring it out that yes, we are reporting to the mothership, even though, there is no mothership. We are observing you for our own fun and games sometimes. Sometimes we wish to give you love. A lot of times, if you're a very spiritual being and you are on the spiritual path, we will come and be what is called your familiars. And we have been doing this for centuries. When you have a cat that is a familiar and it looks like it knows what it's doing energetically, it looks like it's going along with your magic, it is because it is a Lyran. It is a Lyran being. And we do have sentience like humans do, possibly more so. We know who we are spiritually. We know who we are emotionally. We have a great deal of love and compassion, but also we have a good sense of humor too. And we will do funny antics to get you to laugh sometimes. Have you ever seen a cat get its head stuck in a box and then back up and make funny gestures, gesticulations? Sometimes that's a Lyran doing something to make you laugh, to pull you outside of yourself. But overall, for the most part, our beings, our race, we are humanoid, and we do have the appearance of cats, at least on our heads. Now, in the upper octaves, the upper dimensional Lyrans, just like the upper dimensional humans, we do not have bodies that are solid. We have an energy signature or an energy form. And so up in the 7th dimension, it's a lot less dense. In fact, we're practically not dense at all. And in the 9th dimension, we are more like a spiritual being, a beam of light, or even you could call us a blob of light. We're just energy that is perceived as a light form. And we want to stress this because humans can also be in higher dimensions, and you are different in different dimensions, just as we are. And for some reason, some of you get that and some of you don't. So if we say it, maybe you will all get it now. At least all of you who are listening. So you really want to talk about that? Dragons. Okay, I'm getting muscle testing because, many of you have been wondering if the existence of dragons if that was ever a real thing, if dragons ever were real. We're here to tell you that yes, they are. They do exist in the higher realms. There are various races of dragons, and we have had the pleasure to know several of them. Some of them we don't have pleasure to know, but we don't want to discuss those dragons. Those are the Dracos that are more like reptilian than the dragons that have graced your earth. Yes, we said they have graced your earth. They are coming back. You are moving into a dimension, up into a level or part of the dimension in which the dragons will start to be visible to you. They were always flying the skies, you just were not aware because your density was so dense that they were unable to appear to you, except to those of you who are spiritually aware and awake and vibrating at the correct vibrational level and frequency in which you can see the dragon beings. We wanted to point this out to you because we don't want you to be frightened when you look up and lo and behold, there is a dragon being in the sky. It's not going to catch you on fire with its breath, or eat you. It is not the predator. You are not the prey. Many of the dragon spirits are very, very high vibrational. They are from another planet, and they were transplanted here for safekeeping, because in the higher octaves of Earth, they would be safe from humans. But a long time ago, in the days of quote-unquote slaying dragons, your world was vibrationally higher than it is now. And you're going back up to that high vibration now. Everything expands and contracts in the universe, and as the world, or at least the universe or universes, they are like a rubber band and they bounce back. And we've talked about this before. But you have come to the conclusion, and it is correct. We're just another source of saying, yes, you were on the right track with this one. So as it expands and contracts, so does the density of your world. And the density that you're at now, you will never go lower than where you are now again. You're only going to continue to go up, up, up in vibration. And it won't be for a very, very long time, if ever. In fact, we believe never will this occur, that your world, your Earth, will ever be as dense as 3D ever again. After a certain point, there will be no evidence available that you were at a 3D level, except your memories and Akashic records. So, we are master magicians as well as masters of time. The Lyrans are known the universes over for having our abilities of being very magical. We're very tapped into our divine and God selves. Even the Lyrans who are in the fifth dimension have a very good or pretty good knowledge and understanding of the workings of the universe. So if you ever wish to contact us, we are more than happy to help you and assist you. We will assist you in your dreams. We will assist you in your meditations. We will assist you while you're awake if you can be aware of us and telepath with us. All you need to do is say, Lyrans, I'm interested in working with you. And you could say higher dimensional Lyrans, if that helps. You can say ninth dimensional or seventh dimensional Lyrans. And you can ask for poetry, songs, lyrics. We're very, very creative. You can ask us to help with your magic as you would your ancestors or your gods and goddesses. Although please do not consider us gods and goddesses. We are just who we are. We are ourselves. We love to share who we are with you because we consider everyone to be family. Everyone in the world, in the universes, in the dimensions, we are all one. We have the same God as you, and we consider ourselves to be your siblings, your family. So we would help you as we would help our own kin. So we wanted to bring that up because so many of the other races have come and said the same thing. So we want to as well throw our hat into the ring and say, hey, we're here too, and we love you too. We have a good relationship with the Pleiadians. We find them to be good and trustworthy beings. We find the same in the Andromedans. And the Arcturians are very high vibrational. They're very, very, very much in the ninth dimension and beyond. They're very spiritual, and they've spent hundreds of thousands of lifetimes equivalent in your world on just being in tune with God. Many of you are working on your meditations in this moment, in these times, You're working on your shadow selves. You're working on your spiritual selves. And a lot of you spend time in nature, trying to be mindful, trying to be meditative. And when you do this, we can see a change in your world. Every time you meditate, you bring yourself up a little bit. And when you bring yourself up a notch, you do not ever slip back. So this is something that many of you have wondered as well. And we've observed these wonderings in you. And for example, say we see you meditate and you see a pale lavender light surround you. What happens is sometimes you will perceive this and you will feel, I am enlightened, or at least I am better than I was yesterday. And then maybe you'll go about your day and something will happen and you'll get very, very angry. Maybe you're rude. You'll say some mean or cross words with somebody else. When you go through this, you might feel remorse an hour later or later that evening. And then you'll find yourself questioning whether you really truly felt the lavender light before, when you were being mindful and meditative and contemplative. And when you reflect on your full day and you see that maybe you were selfish, maybe you were rude or mean, maybe you got very angry, then you'll start to doubt who you are as a person. And you'll start to think that maybe you backtracked because you backlashed at somebody who in the moment may or may not have deserved it, but your energy of anger leads into energies of doubt. And if you allow this, it will become a lingering energy of doubt, and that will impede your spiritual progress. We wanted to let you know, if you see the silver light or the golden light or the white light or the lavender light, and it made you feel powerful and it made you feel spiritual, close to God, empowered. All the other moments that are angry does not make you slide back. You will not backslide. You will not backtrack. You will not go back. You will not go to a time in which you were less enlightened. Some of you have been wondering about that. We've noticed this when you struggle through your day. And so we're here to tell you that every little bit, every increment of spiritual knowledge that you gain, you can never lose. You have earned it. Every moment of spiritual clarity will not be washed away by a flash of anger or a sea of emotions. Cannot wash away the energy of having made that progress. You can take 10 minutes off or 10 years off from meditating, and when you come back to it, you are still at the same level of progress that you were at the last time. You're not going to backtrack and backslide. If you were at 35 years old and you were meditating every day, and then something happened and you don't meditate till you're 50, when you go back when you're 51 to meditate, you don't slide back to being age 5 again without knowledge. You go back to age 35. And wherever you were there at that moment, that's where you will be when you pick it up again. Spiritual knowledge is not fleeting. It's not flighty. It's not going to fly away from you. Spiritual knowledge that you have gained is solid and it belongs to you. You have earned it. This is your right to keep the knowledge of it inside you. Sure, you might forget certain insights or bits and pieces of knowledge, but it doesn't mean that you have not achieved that level. the meditational idea. When you start meditating, a lot of you have started to wonder about this, because many of you pick up a meditative practice that someone told you to do and you don't have all the information, or you've watched a video, or you've read an article, or some of you just sit and close your eyes and you think, I'm meditating now. And for many of you, you're doing it right. For many of you, you might not be making as much progress as your counterparts, because you need to look at your third eye. You have to visualize and focus on either your third eye or your crown chakra. So when you close your eyes, maybe hold your energy at the center of your head, at the top of your head, in the middle. Just hold your energy there. Eventually, you'll start to feel a crown. And when you look in your third eye, eventually you will see what appears to be an eye, even though the pupil will be shaped like a star, a 5-pointed star. And that is right there in the center of your forehead. And sometimes, because you're in the 5th dimension now, you can feel the energy of it if you just simply touch your third eye with your middle finger or your index finger. You're going to feel a vibration, like a tuning fork, starting to vibrate that area, and your intuition will increase immediately. The more you focus on these things, the more they will become potent, especially as you go up in vibration. You also go up in magic. And even though you're going to have the magic that they had in the old days, you are spiraling up in time. So you're not going back to the medieval times. You will just match an energy vibration. Sometimes you might see a bleed over, but you're going up in a different part of the spiral. If you imagine time as a spiral that goes from the ground up in a coil-like form, like a spiraled coil, if you will. So as you go up, 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 you've already gone all the way down, now you're coming back up. You might match a vibration, so sometimes you might get a glimpse of someone that used to occupy the same space, but you'll never get a glimpse of someone who occupies the same time if their era is different than yours. Now, of course, you see people every day walking around that occupy the same time and space as you, because those are the people that are in your world. They are incarnated with you in this moment. Whether they're your family, your friends, your neighbors, or the guy walking across the street. Those are people sharing your same space and same time. So once in a while, you're going to see like what might be in a medieval bleed over. They can't hear or see you though, but sometimes you might be able to see them. That's because the veils of the worlds of your world right now will be thinning more and more as you gain more and more in vibration and you gain more and more in knowledge. It's all coming to you. We wished for you to hear this information. We hope it sparks your imagination. And when you have this knowledge and your curiosity, like us cats, your curiosity gets piqued, we're hoping that other things will bleed into that, such as having love and compassion for your fellow man, and then having passion to follow through on artistic endeavors that will make other people happy and will enlighten them in some ways and will spark their own spiritual revolution inside of them. Because not only do you creating that energy inside you spark other people, but also do your music, the sound and timbre of your voice, the passion of the topics you speak about, the art that you create, whether it's painting or drawing or sculpting, the music that you create, the singing that you sing, the songs that you sing. Even if you do your hair in a specific way, and it's so artistic in the way that you comb your hair or curl your hair, it might spark and inspire someone, and that spark and that inspiration can lead them to a higher octave of their own being. Sometimes you hear a song or singer that absolutely brings you to your knees emotionally, and you will weep, you will cry, because they brought you to your own heart. Sometimes you will look at a painting and something will click, and all of a sudden you have a rush and a flood of more mental clarity come upon you, and it'll wash over you like waves, and you'll be so mentally clear. And it's because the artist has matched your vibration, your tone, your emotions are captured because their emotions and yours were a vibrational match. And this is why you tend to attract art that will connect you to a part of yourself. Sometimes it's your own heart. Sometimes it's who you are on a gut level, instinctually who you know yourself to be from a solar plexus standpoint. Sometimes you'll hear music that will just grab you at the first chakra, and you'll go, yeah, I struggled to survive too. And then maybe there's a special message in the song that helps to release your energy and dissipate your feelings of unworthiness, and it will dissipate your feelings of a lack of self-esteem or confidence in yourself. Music elevates you. Art elevates you. Singing elevates you. Helping others elevates you. You are elevated by all acts of kindness, random or planned. You are elevated by donating money. You are elevated by donating time. You are elevated by listening, just simply listening to the people around you who need you to listen. Sometimes they want to talk about their lives or their emotions, and if you listen, your own energy increases. Your vibratory level goes up. When they feel heard and loved, they also can release emotions they no longer need, and that raises their vibration, which will spark your own vibration to go up. Your active listening will spark their vibration as your own goes up. Do you see how it's a mutually beneficial thing? If you live completely alone in a cave, you might be able to spark your own vibrations to go up, but when you have another person, you accelerate each other. When you have 3 people, it's triple the amount of acceleration. When you have 4 people, you might accelerate your vibration raising by 4 times. So try to spark each other in positive ways. Do not try to ignite anger or frustration in each other any longer. Even though some of you had a lot of fun doing this in the past, it's now time to grow up a little. It's time to no longer infuriate people just because it's funny to see them mad. You know who you are if you're doing this. And some of us know who you are too, so you are being observed by our kind. Remember, it might be a cat in your neighborhood or a cat in your living room. You never know. Sometimes a cat is just a cat. To paraphrase Sigmund Freud. I love their sense of humor, guys. There's like layers to that one. Oh my gosh. Okay. So what else do you guys want to tell us? Be aware of the skies. Always watch the skies, because we are coming to your world soon. Coming to an earth near you. We are so excited for your transition. We're so excited about your going up in vibration. We're so excited that one day you're going to see our brethren who are in the fifth dimension. You're going to be so amazed. We feel like that imagery of Star Wars cantina scene where the young Luke Skywalker walks into the bar and there's alien races, ET races from all over the cosmos. We feel like soon your world will be like this, but it will be beautiful, and you'll have a great deal of trust with each other because of your vibration being so high. You will be able to sense their vibrations, and you will know if someone is good or bad or meant to talk to you based on the vibratory level and rate that they vibrate at. They will match you. We look forward to this day. You won't meet us for quite some time, those of us that are communicating and talking, and we are part of a group. We call ourselves the Lyran group. And we love and watch over the beautiful beings, the Lyrans that have channeled from, they're saying from me, guys, before. We are like, maybe you can call us their guardian angels or their spiritual guides. But we wanted you to hear from us this time. Lyrans are good people. We all love you. They love you, and they are working tirelessly around the clock with the Pleiadians and others in the Galactic Federation and all the other groups, the Pleiadian light forces. They will be in your world soon. Okay, and when I'm asking them when mentally, and they're saying 15 to 18 months we'll have contact. And will everyone have contact? No, a select few. Those of you who have done the work, but continue to ask us, say, Lyrans, come and help us with this. And we will give you signs in the sky. If you've ever looked up and seen a lion in the sky, that's us looking out for you. And we're sending you our love, our devotion, and our great highest vibration of affection that we can send you. All right, guys, you know what? Yesterday I did see a big lion in the sky. Yes, it was us trying to contact you because we wanted to do this transmission for your show. Awesome. That's so awesome. They say, let us be an inspiration for you. Let us be a source of comfort and joy for you. Let us be a source of love for you. Call upon us when you want us to help you with anything at all. And if our race cannot help you, we will help you find the ET race that can help you. We are all in this together because we're all rooting for Earth. Go Earth, yay Earth. That's us, cheerleading on your behalf. Always sending you love and light. Always sending you high vibrational energy that you may crack the code and move on up into the higher octave of the fifth dimension. There you will meet your Galactic Federation counterparts. And for this, we are very grateful. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your ascension today. We are the Lyrans. We love and honor and respect you. And they're kind of bowing. Are you saying Namaste? They're saying no, it means this though. What are you saying? I'm not quite getting it. Does it begin with the L? Okay, yes. Is it Lee? Lu? Okay, Lu. Is there an R? Lu Ra? Lura Kishka. And what is this? I honor in you what I see in me. And let us all be with the one. You're seeing the one in three? The one in thee. Let us all be with the one in thee. And basically, it's like they're saying, you and I are together and we are in union with God. They're like, oh, wow, we never thought of it that way. Yeah, okay. So say it again, please. This is something that they say. It's kind of like their version of Namaste. So, or Mitakueo Yasin, or in Lakech. So, okay, say this again. Lura Kishka. Lura Kishka. Lura Akishka. There we go. Lura Akishka. All I saw or heard was Kishka, but Akishka. Lura Kishka. Like with two A's. All right. Well, there you go. Lura Akishka. That feels very honoring. I hope you guys can say this and see what you feel, what you intuitively get from this. But Lura Akishka. They said, thank you for allowing us to be on the show today. And this is the end of our transmission. Lura Akishka. I got to write this one down. All right, guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the transmission tonight from the Lyrans. I love these beings. They're so sweet and so intense. And I've never spoken to these guys before. Only the fifth dimensional Lyrans. I was wondering why there wasn't this crash. It's like a whipping sound, like a crack of lightning, and then it literally sounds like a cat has crashed into the floor and ran across the floor and crashed into the wall. That's the best way I can describe it. And last year, a Lyran appeared during a random show, just randomly appeared, and that was the sound, and it was actually captured on the audio. It was one of the trippiest moments of my life right there. Because, I mean, while I see things and I hear things, I usually don't record them, and it was an accident because I was already in the middle of recording the show. So it was pretty cool. I had friends later who heard the show, and they got back to me and they're like, whoa, I heard that. It's so freaky. I had to rewind it like 5 times. It was so weird. I had to hear it over and over again. It's like, I don't know, guys. I hope you enjoyed this and got something out of it. And if you know anybody who loves cats and is spiritual, or they're opening up and awakening to new ideas lately, please tell them about the show. Tell them that this might help them awaken more. It might be interesting or entertaining. And it was brought to my attention from somebody else that they use the show as kind of a nice transition between their day and their sleeping state. Probably because I'm talking about so many ethereal, spiritual things that it's kind of a nice transition into your gossamer wing fairy dreams, you know. But a lot of you do use my show as a morning drive time or an evening drive time to and from work. Of course, this is pre-coronavirus. So, however you listen to my show, let your friends know. Tell your family and your neighbors and everybody who might have a little bit of an interest in the show. Maybe they're only interested in acupressure. They can listen to the foot episode I did last week. You know, maybe they're interested in feng shui. I've done several feng shui episodes. And tomorrow, I'll be back with all unique and original programming, just like always. And I think I'm gonna do another fairy tale episode. And I might be actually looking into Irish fairy tales. I've never done an Irish folk tale or Irish fairy tale episode yet. That feels unbelievable to me because my ancestors are Irish and Cherokee and German, okay, but I'm more Irish than anything else. I'm like 75% Irish. My dad is 100% Irish. His grandparents came from the old world. So they met on the ship and fell in love before they hit Ellis Island. So very, very Irish. And so it's funny to me that I have not gone to the Irish fairy tales, but we're going to do that tomorrow, I think. Hopefully I will find some really good ones, and hopefully they'll be about actual fairies, because a lot of these I think have a little bit of a basis in reality. There's a lot of inspiration drawn from real life, and sometimes these are folk tales and legends, and there's a lot to be learned about the fairy kingdom from Ireland, because for many, 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 many thousands of years, many generations, the people lived in peace and harmony, or sometimes not so much, with the folks of the fairy kingdom. So hopefully we'll have some good stories for you tomorrow. So I will be back tomorrow with that. Anyway, thank you for your nomination in the People's Choice Podcast Award. Thank you for your continued confidence in me and for your listenership. I wish you love and joy and luck and peace. Right now, I am signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.